Hello students, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to start with the ICSC new syllabus and our chapter will be The Homecoming by Rabindranath Tagore. I have received several requests for this particular chapter, so we are going to start today's lesson based on this particular chapter. Now, before we dive into the story, we need to know a little bit about Rabindranath Tagore and his philosophy. Now, I had discussed about Tagore and his philosophy in one of my videos on Frids. I had explained Tagore's philosophy of short story and how Satyajit Ray was influenced by Tagore and his writing. You may refer to that particular video on Frids for writing answers in order to get a better understanding of Tagore's philosophy. Now, critics often argue that Tagore's true creative genius can only be experienced through his short stories. He made short stories a prominent genre in Bengali literature, and now we also read him in translations. Now, in his short stories, he would always give center stage to our own little joys, troubles, trials and tribulations that we face in our daily lives. These were the topics that he chose, these were the emotions that he dealt with, the ordinariness of our daily existence. This was something that he emphasized on. In this particular short story, The Homecoming, we will read about a teenage boy, an adolescent boy of only 14, and we will see how he moves through the story and how it comes to a poignant end. So let us start with the story right away. Now, Phatik Chakraborty was ringleader among the boys of the village. So, ringleader, he was a kind of a leader. He would direct everyone, all the other boys. And Phatik was, as we can understand right from the beginning, that he is someone who is quite mischievous. A new mischief got into his head. He was, right at the beginning we see that the story begins with his new mischief, and we see him as a kind of leader, as a kind of person who has a lot of influence among the boys, and he's someone who is filled with lively spirit. There was a heavy log lying on the mud flat of the river. Mud flat is a stretch of muddy land in front of the river. This particular stretch of land is generally exposed when there is a low tide and the water recedes. So, there was a log lying there, waiting to be shaped into a mast for a boat, and the log was kept there because it would be shaped into a mast and it will be utilized in a boat. He decided that they should all work together. That is, all means his boy band that he had gathered around him. They should all work together to shift the log by main force from its place and roll it away into the river. So, the idea was to shift, to use a lot of force. All of them, they are young boys. They do not have, a single person will not have the strength to move such a huge log into the river. But he wants all of them to work together and move it into the water, into the river water, roll it away. The owner of the log would be angry and surprised. The owner will obviously be shocked, be surprised, and at the same time he would be extremely angry because the log would be flowing with the water. It would be rolled away into the water. And they would all enjoy the fun. And once the owner is annoyed, he would perhaps curse the children, he would perhaps run around in order to recover it. and this will be a source of enjoyment, a source of joy for them. Everyone seconded the proposal and it was carried unanimously. So, everyone seconded means everyone supported Phatik's suggestion, his new master plan to do something mischievous, and this was carried out unanimously means without any kind of opposition. They all wanted to do this particular thing. But just as the fun was about to begin, Makhan, Phatik's younger brother, sauntered up. So, just when they were about to start this mischief, when they were about to begin, we find Phatik's younger brother Makhan comes in and he sauntered up, that is, he walked up to them and sat down on the log in front of them all. And this log that they had planned to move away into, push away into the water, on that particular log, Makhan came and he sat on it. Without a word, he did not utter a single word, but he sat on it. The boys were puzzled for a moment. They were suddenly puzzled because this was not part of the plan. They did not expect something like this to happen. So, they were for a moment extremely confused and puzzled. He was pushed rather timidly by one of the boys. So, one of them gathered some courage and lightly pushed him, because they did not know what else to do. Pushed him rather timidly means in a nervous fashion, cowardly, not with a lot of force. And told to get up, but he remained quite unconcerned, and few others had asked him to get up and move away, but he remained quite unconcerned. He did not pay any attention, any heed to what the boys around him were saying. He appeared like a young philosopher meditating on the futility of games. So, he appeared like a philosopher, a very serious person who was meditating, means thinking about the futility, that is, about the uselessness of games. So, though he was young, but he did not believe in all these things, and he somehow presented himself like this, like a very serious person who is looking at the foolishness of these boys, and he is thinking about the uselessness of their games, and he remained there like that. Phatik was furious. Phatik was the older brother and he was furious, and he cried out, "Makhan," he cried, "if you don't get down this minute, I'll thrash you." So, Phatik was enraged, he was extremely angry, and he gives him a warning, a sharp warning, that if you do not get up, you will be thrashed. Makhan only moved to a more comfortable position. So, now Makhan also takes it up as a challenge, and he does not pay any heed to his older brother, and he settles himself more comfortably on the log. Now, if Phatik was to keep his regal dignity before the public, it was clear he ought to carry out his threat. Now, Makhan completely ignores Phatik's threat, and on the contrary, he almost settles himself in a way that he challenges Phatik's authority. So, in order to keep his regal, that is his grand, majestic dignity in front of the public, that is in front of the other boys, in order to hold that power, in order to hold that grandeur, he needed to carry out his threat. So, Phatik was now in a sort of dilemma. He did not know what he should do. He had given a warning and he thought it would be sufficient to move Makhan. But on the other hand, we see that Makhan appeared completely nonchalant about this particular warning, and he settles himself down. So, now Phatik will have to do something in order to prove his superiority, prove his position, in order to hold his dignity in front of his peers, in front of his other friends. But his courage failed him at the crisis. But inwardly, Phatik was really scared to hit Makhan, because He knew that he would complain to his mother, he would complain to their mother, and he may get into trouble because of this. So what did he do? He was thinking at this particular moment of crisis, at this particular trouble, his courage did not, somehow he lost his courage. His fertile brain, that is, he was very intelligent, and he must now come up with a secondary plan, must come up with another plan in order to save his dignity and at the same time have fun and carry out his mischief. So he rapidly seized upon a new maneuver. So he rapidly, that is, he quickly gathered and he thought of a new maneuver, means a new activity that he could now do, which would discomfit, that is, make his brother embarrassed, discomfit his brother, and afford his followers an added amusement. And this will not only embarrass his younger brother Makhon, not only make him uncomfortable, but at the same time it will provide added amusement to his friends, to his followers. He gave the word of command to roll the log and Makhon over together. So now he says, even if Makhon is sitting there, he let the boys push the log and let Makhon also be rolled over on the mud like the log. With Makhon, they should move the log towards the river. Makhon heard the order and made it a point of honor to stick on. So now Makhon was also adamant. He did not want to leave the log. So now he thinks it is about his dignity. He should also hold on to what he was doing, and so he held the log. With all his power. But he overlooked the fact, that is, Makhon overlooked the fact, that is, he ignored the fact, like those who attempt earthly fame in other matters, that there was peril in it. So here the author makes a comparison between whom? Between Makhon and the people who attempt to get earthly fame. So Makhon was doing this in order to get some attention, and now the author says that he ignored one important fact, that is, if one wishes to gain this kind of fame, if one wishes to do such a thing, then there was peril in it, there was some amount of risk and danger involved in it. So Makhon did not realize, he ignored it, that there was danger in doing so. The boys began to heave at the log. So the boys began to lift, pull and move the log with all its strength, with all their mighties, with all their strength, calling out 1, 2, 3, go. So they were calling out these things and they were going. At the word go, the log went, and with it went Makhon's philosophy, glory and all. So what happened? The moment the word go was uttered, they all pushed the log with all their might, and poor Makhon, who was sitting on the log, he also went rolling into the mud, and with it went all his philosophy. He was trying to appear as a philosopher, as a very learned young boy who does not participate in such foolish, childish games, and with the movement of the log, his philosophy also went into mud, and the glory. He was considering himself, he was considering that there was glory in challenging Phatik and his authority. That glory also went into the mud. Okay, I believe this portion is clear to you all. So that would be all for today's video. If you like my work, please like, subscribe and share this particular video. Please keep supporting me, and I'll come up with new videos as soon as possible. I hope you enjoyed my work. So thank you. I'll again meet you all in the next video.